Before we finish our discussion around SD cards, there is one last topic that I'd like to address, and that is how do we prevent SD card corruption issues. This is more common than you think, and as a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, one of my SD cards got corrupted, and what I've compiled here is just a list of best practices that I've found that really helps to ensure that you get the best performance out of your SD cards, you avoid corruption, and that they work a little bit more reliably. So the first point on there is around using genuine SD cards. And there are a lot of cheap SD cards that you can get on sites like eBay and Alibaba and Amazon and so on. You just have to be mindful of the type of SD card that you get. Verify that it is first of all compatible with your Raspberry Pi from that resource that I spoke about in the previous lecture. And also you want to check the reviews for the different types of cards or a card that you're interested in. Make sure there have been a lot of positive reviews from customers who have purchased it and could attest to the reliability of the card. So that's something you just want to look out for when you're getting an SD card. Next up is using a good quality power supply. Believe it or not, this can corrupt your SD card. If there's a fault in your power supply or if it doesn't deliver enough current, it could cause the Pi to become unstable and could potentially result in corruption issues on the SD card. So, of course, the power supply has to provide 5 volts DC, but to just ensure also that a good current rating of about 1 amp or more, if that's the rating on your power supply, that would probably be better to ensure reliability and stability of your Raspberry Pi. So again, just if you're buying a power supply separate from a kit that comes in a kit, just make sure you check out the reviews and see what other customers have, the feedback that they have left on the power supply, and choose one that's right for you. Next up is also using a good quality USB cable for the power supply. Sometimes if there is a short in the cable or if there are issues with the connection, this could result in corruption issues on your SD card. So just verify that cable is of a good quality, and this could be a difficult issue to troubleshoot. It has happened to me in the past. This is just something to be aware of. Another good practice, and actually we will delve a little bit deeper into this when we talk about working with the terminal in another section in the course. But before you shut your Pi down, typing in sudo space halt from the terminal at the command line, that's a good practice because it generally closes off any existing processes and puts your Pi in a good state before you shut it down. So I would highly recommend before you shut your Pi down, typing in sudo space halt, and that also prevents SD card corruption issues as it leaves your Pi in a good state before you power it off. The last point on there is around overclocking, and we actually will delve more deeply into overclocking and what it is in another section of the course. But essentially overclocking is getting your Pi to perform faster than the default settings of the operating system. So this can be tweaked, and I'll go into how we can do that in another lecture, but this has been known to cause SD card corruption issues. So just be mindful of that and take that into account when you're overclocking, and you may have to strike a right balance and not overclock to the highest extent possible, but find some medium that would ensure reliability and the stability of your Pi and prevent SD card corruption issues.